Hey, it's Chris and Brian here, and today we're going to talk about a hot button issue with places like Google and Gmail, and they're basically ratcheting things down for security and spammers and things. So we ran into this not with Google the other day, but with Yahoo Mail. So we had a business client that was sending to a bunch of private Yahoo mailboxes. Go ahead.
AOL, and then the other one, yeah, Yahoo Mail and AOL were the two I think they were running in.
So it seems like they're doing across the board where they're making sure that you have what's called an SPF record, a sender policy framework record. Now, this record has been around for a long time, but it hasn't been enforced like it's starting to get enforced now. And that's why we didn't see a problem with this client until now. Basically, what happened is, Chris, I'll let you take it away. What happened with where the client was taking care of their own domain records for their website, and when they set that up, they missed something. Go ahead.
Yeah, so essentially I guess they at some point along the ways they were using Blue Mail. I think they had some uh one-off mail provider they were using, but they moved to Wix for their website and they moved to Microsoft Office, Microsoft 365 for email. In Wix, I don't know, the business owner set up that Wix portal, but I was able to get in there and I noticed that I thought they didn't have an SPF record because I used the tool called MX Toolbox and it didn't show a record in there. However, when I went into their Wix portal, there's a section called SPF and it was the correct record in there. So I wasn't sure what was going on until Brian and I went into the tenant under, Microsoft 365 Admin Center. When you go under your domain, there was actually a exclamation mark here, saying that it couldn't find the record. So all the SPF record is, it's to help prevent spoofing mainly. But it wasn't showing in here. And you can come, the health check or whatever you want to call it in Microsoft 365 under domains. You can check the health, manage the DNS, and it had an issue with the SPF record. So what I did was I just created a TXT record in their Wix portal when under their domain, and I added in this SPF record, and then all of a sudden it started working. We got the green check mark like you see in my demo tenant.
Yeah, and let's just take a step back for a second. And for the people that don't know what spoofing is has been a big problem the last few years, and this is why these companies like Google and Yahoo and AOL are starting to now tighten up on their email back exchange. It's when a spammer you get a lot of phishing emails, right? And they have malicious links in them. Well, it spoofing is when they just take your email address and put it into the email somewhere so it looks like that you or somebody else's email and it looks like it's coming from that person. It's really easy to do, but if you have a SPF record set up, it reduces the ability to just create this email address. Did I explain that enough,
Yeah.
Chris?
Essentially, SPF helps validate outbound email sent from a custom domain. So, yourdomain.com. And it's only one of the, one step of the process. You also have things like DKIM and DMARC, but we're not going to really get into that here. But essentially, what you want to do is you'd have to go on your hosting provider. So in my case, I have a domain in Namecheap. And if I come to manage DNS, you'll see all these are DNS records. This is what's pointing, Microsoft 365 mail to my .org domain. And one of those is a TXT record that's this here which is the standard SPF record for Microsoft 365. So once you add it here, you'd also have to set up your domain. So when you set up a Microsoft 365 tenant, you might have seen this on .onmicrosoft.com where it's not quite your domain. You got to do like a cutover and switch over to your domain and set this up. Now, Namecheap, any provider, any provider really should have some kind of step or process on how you would set all this up. Like you need to add these records here. And see, they usually always include the SPF record. Usually when you set up a tenant, it's there, but every provider is different, whether it's Namecheap or what is the other one? Network Solutions or Wix. Wix has been a little more end user friendly from what I see, but it's also a little, it has an SPF section, but that section wasn't for one reason or another not working. Where that it wasn't Microsoft or MX Toolbox wasn't detecting the SPF record.
Yeah, so we try to manage this what they call the domain services, the DNS services for clients, because if it goes down, it can affect your email, your website, and things like that. And we know quite a bit about it from dealing with it. A lot of times, web designers will have access to this control panel, and that's usually when we see problems. Most web designers are into design, they're not into the more technical aspects. Some do know this, and we'll work hand in hand with designers to make sure they update the right records. But this is a case where a business owner or whoever they had managing the Wix site missed one step, and they needed two records instead of one. Chris figured that out, and then the owner could start sending mail to Yahoo and AOL without it getting a bounce back. But if you're seeing these bounce backs more frequently, it's likely that your IT provider or your internal people, whoever does your web hosting, may have these records misconfigured. So take a look at it. All right, Chris. Hey, thanks a lot for showing us
Yeah,
that.
no problem.
Have a good day.
Bye.